Hello again there folks, Lone Adventurer here. Thank you very much for stumbling your way upon my channel and joining me for the continuation of our 12 years adventure. This is part 4 of this playthrough. If you have not yet seen the other parts, there'll be links to all of them down in the description below, so if you missed part 2 or part 3 you can jump back and watch those. There'll be a link up in the corner of the screen right about now to part 1 if you have not seen any of it and you want to watch it in its entirety. Before we go any further, can I ask you to consider subscribing to my channel and hitting the bell and notification icon so you are alerted when I release more adventures just like this one. Now, this game has been pretty epic, as you would imagine for a game that plays across 12 years. And I wasn't going to finish it, but it feels like we're actually within spitting distance now of having a moderate chance of finishing the game. Might not work out. We are 7 years in to our 12-year playthrough, and we are pretty close to the castle. Our party has acquired a crown, which means that they are now in a position to try and place it on the head of the Lich and save the world, save the realm. Now, of course, if you were playing by yourself, you could optionally just have a little mooch around and see whether you could level your characters up a little bit. I'm not going to do that in this video. We're going to push pretty much directly onto the castle, see if we can get there, and see what happens if we arrive. So I've got my village expansion here, which we might not be needing unless we stumble across another village. And I've also got the optional exploring tables for the different terrains, which we haven't used yet, but I think we might in this playthrough actually, just to add a little bit of variety to the overland encounters that we come across. With that said, I think it's time to just make a start. We've just come out of the dungeon in our current location, and we're going to move on and see what we find in the next area. So here's our exploring terrain table. We need a D6, which I have got right here. Quiet forest, no encounter first turn, functions as normal forest upon your return. So we'll just draw some trees in there, and we can just carry on, I think. Yep, so we'll go on to the next one. We'll go up here. 1. That gives us a large lake. Cannot enter this hex permanently. Return to the last hex. Oh, and if we completely get surrounded, then we have a situation that occurs. But this here is a large lake. There we go. So we get bumped back to here. So then we have to roll for an encounter, right? Because we come back to a hex we have already been in. So I think we have to roll for an encounter there. And this is going to be a forest encounter, rolling D6 on the table for forest encounters. So we'll turn to our optional exploring tables, and we've got some unique forest encounters here that are different to the one encounters table that you get in the main zine, which covers all terrain types, but this is different. 3. None. You thought you saw a glimmer of something, heard a noise, had a premonition, but it was nothing after all. Alright, so nothing happens and we can carry on over here. So not that exciting, never mind. Exploring. I've just realised that this dice only has 1s, 2s and 3s on it, which would probably explain why I've only been rolling 1s, 2s or 3s. What a muppet. And no doubt someone has been yelling at the screen or glowering at the screen until I realised that. What a plonker. Okay, let's see what we have when we roll a dice with all 6 values on it. 5. Hills. Alright, so we've got some hills. We will turn to the hills exploring table. Here we go. Before we draw anything, we need to roll to see what we have. We need a D12. Here we go. 6. A wounded villager. Tend to their wounds and they reveal a secret dungeon entrance containing a crown in the final room once fully explored. What, here? I guess, is it a secret dungeon here? Maybe we should put it in the hex next door. I mean, the thing is, we don't need a crown right now, but, you know, there is a chance that we could lose our crown. So what I'll do is I'll put our dungeon here, and I'll make a note of it in our journal. Alright, so if we find ourselves crownless at some point, we know where we can go. Alright, we'll push on. We're pretty close to the castle, actually. We can probably get straight into it, in which case maybe this will be a short video. I don't know how much time tackling the castle takes. We don't need that, we need a d6. 6. Forest. Roll on the exploring encounter table. 4. A creature. Roll on the exploring creatures table. Interesting. So this is a whole brand new table of creatures that we have not encountered yet. 5. A gargantuan beetle. Have we had a gargantuan beetle? Maybe we have. Maybe that's in one of the other tables as well. 24 HP. 1d12 damage. Deals plus 4 damage. That is pretty brutal. We'll just make a note of the beetle here in B3. Just drawing a few more trees. I've written giant beetle because I can't spell gargantuan. I'm too lazy to look back at the page. 24 health, I think it was. So, our party... Ooh, we've got 2 dead party members, haven't we? So our party is down to 3. Max, Star and Graham. We're all rolling at +2, that's good. But first of all, we need to find out whether the first round of combat is going to go our way. And for that, we roll a d6. 4, both. Weak hit, both deal half damage. Okay, so we'll start off with the party. We're doing d8 plus d6 plus d12. So there we go. Just making sure this dice has got all the numbers on it. Yes, it has. Okay, so half of this damage, or this +2 halved. 17. Half of 17, I guess, is 8. I would imagine. So that's going to take the gargantuan beetle down to 16, but the gargantuan beetle is also going to do some damage to us, and it's doing d12, 1d12 plus 4, 3 plus, that's lucky, 3 plus 4 is 7, halved I guess is 3, so who's receiving 3 damage? Hopefully Graham, because Graham can absorb quite a lot of damage. Yay, it's Graham. Graham's taking 3 damage, down to 27. Let's have another round of combat. 3, enemy hits the party for a weak hit. So this is the same again. 12! Ooh, 12 plus 4, 16. Half of 16 is 8 points of damage. Oh no. Who's this going on? Oh, it's going on Graham again. It's at 8. So Graham's going down to 19. Pretty rough. Hopefully we'll get a hit in here and Star can do some healing. 5. Party, enemy, hit, normal damage. Okay, so Star is going to use their hermit healing powers to heal everyone back up to max. So Graham's going up to 32. And everyone else is fine, but I think that's worth doing anyway. And then we're doing d8 plus d12 plus a couple more damage. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that is 16 points of damage in total. I don't think that's enough to kill the giant beetle. This giant beetle is being a little bit of a bugger. Oh, wait a minute, 16, is that what I said? Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's enough to kill the beetle. That is good news. Beetle is defeated. Huzzah. Alright, that's this location completed, isn't it, right? We can carry on into the castle. So I'm just going to take a moment to read the rules for the castle. Okay, so the Sunken Castle of the South. Essentially, we're going to treat this as a standard dungeon, but we won't be rolling for encounters. All rooms will contain 1d6 skeletons with the exception of the throne room. When we get into the 6th room, that is the throne room, and we have to face the Lich King. In order to place the crown on the Lich King's head, we would need to make a successful attack roll that would deal full damage or more. If we do that, then we win. However, The Lich King's touch causes instant death. So whenever the Lich King does damage to the party, a single character will die. So we have got 3 characters and therefore 3 chances to take damage from the Lich King. That is if we manage to get into the final room. So here we go. Have we got a special page for the sunken castle? I'm not sure we do. Not sure we need it. No, I don't think so. So we'll just put the sunken castle here. So here we go. Rolling for room size. It gives us a claustrophobic room. Room type. A cavern, a claustrophobic cavern. And how many doors do we have here? That gives us a... Wait a minute, that should be a D6 roll. 6 gives us roll twice, stroke exit. So 1 is a dead end, 3, 1 door. So we have 1 door out of our first little cavern. And we have 1d6 skeletons. So where's the skeleton? That's our most basic enemy. 5 skeletons. And we've got 10 HP each. Do 1d4 damage. Creates another skeleton on a palpable hit against the party. So we're going to be fighting a lot of skeletons, I think. Here we go. Round 1 against our first batch of skeletons. Party deals damage. Enemy takes damage, palpable hit. Yeah, and damage does roll over, so that is very good news. A D12, a D8 and a D6. 15 plus 6 is 21 damage, so that is enough to kill 2 of the skeletons and do 1 point of damage to the third. That is a very nice start. Here we go. Ooh, enemy party, palpable hit. So we're going up to a total of 6 skeletons. On a palpable hit, the skeletons create another skeleton. So that set us back a little bit. And a palpable hit. And do we roll dice for all of them? I think we do. So a skeleton did how much damage? D4. So we've got 4 skeletons left and they're all doing D4 damage. Ooh, okay. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. And who is this damage going on? Roll our D6 to find out. 2, that means it's going on Max. Was it 11 damage? Max is a rogue, self-preservation. So I think that means that we roll again. It does. I don't need to look it up. It means we roll again and the damage might go on someone else. 3, that's Star. Oh my god, it's enough to kill Star. That's awful news. That's seriously going to impact our ability to defeat the Lich, isn't it? So we no longer have a healer. Max, you rogue. You insufferable rogue. Okay. Oh, there is a sunken castle to the south page. Never mind. Right, come on, we need a bit of luck. 2, enemy, party, hit, normal damage. Oh, that should have been double damage, that last round. So that definitely would have killed him. But now they're doing normal damage. And again, there's 4 of them still. Should we try and evade these guys? Well, we have to take this damage now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8... That's 12 damage. Oh, skeletons, I don't like you at all. So who's this damage going on? Okay, it's going on Graham, taking Graham down to 20 HP. Now, do we need to evade these skeletons? I think possibly we do. So we'll roll on the evasion table. 3. Party evades all enemies and traps but does not retrieve any loot. I can survive with that. We'll move on from this room and we'll go into another. Remember, we've got to get through another 4 rooms before we get into the final room. Right, so that is a claustrophobic room. The room type is rectilinear. And the number of doors, roll twice. 4 gives us 2 doors, and 4 gives us, we've got 4 doors. That's pretty massive. And we've got a rectilinear room. Got a bit hinky towards the end there, but I've just about made it work. That was room 1. This is room 2. How many skeletons are we going to have in room 2? Hopefully fewer. 2. Alright, I think I can probably cope with 2 skeletons. Right, let's hope for some slightly luckier rolling here. So we want to roll high, ideally 4 or higher. 5, party, enemy hit. Okay, we're doing D12 and D8. Oh, that's good. 12, 13, 14. So a total of 18. So that is enough to kill... No, it's not. It's a total of 16, right? 14 plus 4. Nope, that's 18. Don't know what happened to my brain then. So enough to kill the first one and then to take the second one down to 2 points of health. Another round of combat. 5 again. Tremendously good news. And that's plenty of damage. Certainly enough to kill the second skeleton. And we can carry on. Room size 6. That gives us medium. And that's a corridor, a medium corridor. 5, stairs down. Ooh. Deeper into the bowels of the castle. So we'll do it over this way. Draw some little stairs there. This is room 3. More skeletons. How many skeletons have we got here? Another 2. That's fantastic news. 4. Both. We both get a weak hit. So let's start with us doing damage here. That's quite big. So that's 21. Half of that would be 10. So that's enough to kill skeleton 1. But both the skeletons are getting a hit in on us. Is it 1d4 damage for the old skeletons? Yes. That's 2. And that's 3, so that's 5 damage, and that is going to go on... Ooh, that's going on our first character. That's Max. So Max is taking... how much was it? I've already forgotten. Is it 4? I've forgotten. Sorry if I've got that wrong. Down to 10 health. Unfortunate news. Oh, that's bad. Enemy takes a normal hit from the party. 2 damage plus 4, so that's 6 damage, and that is going on Graham, taking Graham down to 14 health, and I've got no way to heal. Okay, we've still got to try and defeat, or we're going to try and run away. There's only 1 skeleton left. I'll have one more go at it. Oh, there's only 1 skeleton left. I shouldn't have taken that much damage then, should I? But maybe I messed up the damage in the first round of combat, so probably it evens out. 5, that's the party hitting the enemy with a normal attack. That's 18 points of damage. That is plenty to kill the skeleton. We can go on into room number 4. We'll go down the stairs into a room of what size? Large. A large rectilinear room. How many doors? It's a dead end. I think it said something about not finding dead ends. Only when necessary. So I think it's fine. Because we've got other rooms we can go into. So this is room number 4. Believe it or not, it's going to have some skeletons in it. 3 skeletons. We've been moderately lucky with these skeleton rolls. And now, do we just immediately try to evade these skeletons? Maybe we should, because they are wearing us down. We're going to have a risky evade. So rolling d4. 4, party retrieves all loot and evades enemies and traps. Great news. How do we backtrack? Is there rules for backtracking? Retracing your steps. Okay, so it's only if there's enemies left And there isn't in room 3, and there isn't in room 2. It was room 1 where we left some enemies. So we'll go down into a new room. This will be room 5, which is the penultimate room before we face the Lich. 2, so it's a small room. That was the wrong dice. Doesn't really matter. We'll say it's a small room. 2 is a cavern, and then the number of doors. 3 is 1 door. That's absolutely fine. And do you know what? We don't need anymore, so I might just join this up to both of those doors there, because the next room is the final room. How many skeletons in here? 5. Ooh, I think we're going to have to risk an evade. So let's roll to evade. 3, that's a roll of 2. That's bad news, right? Enemy follows the party to the next room or hex. If an enemy follows the party into a new room, roll for any new encounters before engaging in combat or attempting another invasion. Enemies will not follow the party out of the dungeon. Ooh, so they're going to follow us into the final room with the Lich. So now I guess we've got to face 5 skeletons and the Lich. So that's pretty rough, but we've got to fight. So we're going to roll for the first round of combat. Hope for something high. 1. That's the enemy and party taking a palpable hit. Ooh. That's very bad news. Well, I don't think we need to worry about the skeletons actually, because the Lich that we're now facing, if it does any damage to us, it instantly kills 1 party member. So we're now going to have to roll to see which member of our party is going to die. So is it going to be Max or is it going to be Graham? It's Graham. Graham is down, which means it's just Max the Rogue. No one he can deflect damage onto now. So Max the Rogue, hoping to roll a 4, 5 or a 6 for the combat. 6. Oh my god. Party. Palpable hit. So Max on his own does a palpable hit to the Lich. Making a successful attack roll allows Max to place the crown on the head of the Lich, with all of his party mates having fallen in his wake. So Moonboy and Star and Ray and Graham, they all fell, but their efforts allowed Max to get to this final room and place the crown on the head of the Lich King. The Lich King crumbles to the floor to rest for another 12 years, unless we found a way to be rid of him permanently, which I don't think we did. All skeletons remaining in the castle are instantly destroyed, and no new skeletons are generated. So I suppose Max could now carry on, or we could just move on from Max and form a new party, keep searching and hope to find a way to permanently destroy the Lich. I think that basically involves like a magic crown, which we never managed to get. We just had a bog standard ancient crown. There you go, folks. That is 12 years. A surprisingly epic game, considering what a slight little zine it is. And the campaign journal is very handy. The optional exploring rules add a little bit to it. The village expansion, that's got quite a lot of stuff in it. We didn't really get into that fully. We never got into the Demon Lord expansion. I guess let me know if you want to see the Demon Lord expansion on the channel. And we've even got the bookmark, which has got some cool alternatives for levelling up on the reverse. So there we go. And of course we've got the new ocean going 12 years that has funded recently on Kickstarter. So it's a really cool little series, a very fun little game. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed playing. I can't believe we defeated the Lich, or at least managed to put him out of action for another 12 years. Thanks for watching, folks. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.